This is David.
Hey, David, this is Dustin Wilmus from KMSU Radio. How you doing today?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's great to be speaking with you. Thanks for taking the time out with me today.
Hey, no problem. My pleasure.
Well, David, first, if you could tell us a bit about the new album here from the Ocean Blue, Kings and Queens, Knaves and Thieves. What are the listeners in for with the new one?
Oh my. Well, I think it's a different record for us. We have quite a few records, that go back some 30 years, and each one's a little bit different. And so I think this one, I would say, is more of a lyrically a heavier record. I'm thinking about maybe deeper, weightier issues than I deal with lyrically on some of the other records. I think musically the palette is a little wider. But all that said, the feedback I get from fans is it sounds like a classic Ocean Blue record. So if you know the band and you like us, it's probably gonna fit within the catalog, but maybe a little bit deeper.
Excellent. Yeah. So it sounds like on the new one, you guys, as you mentioned, have the Ocean Blue stuff that everyone knows, but maybe a couple things that might surprise the fans this time around.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's interesting. And so far, so good. We've had a lot of nice feedback.
Well, David, I know it's been quite a few years since the last album. What have you guys been up to since then? Just kind of taking your own time doing things, or is there other things maybe we should be going back and trying to find?
Well, our last full-length record came out in 2013. So Ultramarine is the name of that record, and that was the first one full-length we had done for some time. So if people don't have that one, I'd commend that if you're a fan of the band or want to know more about us. A couple years ago, we did reissues of our first three records that were on Sire Warner Brothers, and that was a lot of fun. But that was a project basically bringing those first three records of ours out on vinyl and doing some touring in connection with that. And we continue, we've got a part of a co-op label here in Minneapolis with a lot of other bands, and we regularly contribute to a compilation of music on that label co-op and doing shows with that. So, yeah, a lot of stuff that people could find out about.
Awesome, yeah, and I know it's been about 30 years since your first album came out. You mentioned on Sire Records. Obviously things have changed quite a bit over the years as far as, the music business goes. And I know you've had your ups and downs with the labels over the years, but I imagine it must be a lot better for you now than it was back in the day to kind of do things the way a lot of bands do now, maybe get more to the fans and kind of cut out a lot of the middleman stuff.
Well, that's partially true. I don't have a lot of, major label horror stories. I thought it was great to be on Sire Records. It was kind of a dream, and we were treated really well. I mean, I don't think we'd probably be talking right now if I hadn't done those three records with Warner Brothers. I mean, they really were able to support and promote the band and our music for a long period of time early in our career. But to your point, I mean, the nice thing about the way we do things now is there's a lot less pressure. We connect more directly with fans and have more control over everything. And so for us as older, musicians, that makes a lot of sense. We can take our time and do things the way we want to. But I mean, honestly, I can't say that I don't have a lot of complaints about the times where we were on major labels.
Well, again, the Ocean Blue album, Kings and Queens, Knaves and Thieves, is out, and I know you guys are on tour. You got a show coming up here at the Fine Line in Minneapolis on the 26th.
That's right. That's this Friday, and we're really looking forward to it. We're doing the show with a good friend of ours who's a popular DJ here in town, Jake Rude, and love what he does musically live and on the Currents and with his transmission stuff. We're playing with another band called Graveyard Club, a younger band, really, really great new record they're putting out. So it should be a lot of fun.
Well, and David, I know you're living in Minnesota these days. I wanted to ask you about that. What made you decide to relocate here to Minnesota?
Yeah, well, gosh, a lot of things. I'm living here. This is a great space to live. I mean, my family, even though my family's from New York, and I went to the University of Minnesota Law School, and when I was about 30, and ended up staying here. Made a lot of sense on a lot of levels. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, again, the show coming up on the 26th, Friday at the Fine Line. Is there anything maybe special you've got in store just for the Minnesota crowd?
Well, like I said, it's going to be a great night because we're playing with another band, and we've got a great DJ. So I think we're going to really be diving into a lot of our musical DNA. So if there are people that know and like the band from the early years, there'll be some stuff there that they're like. We always do a cover that's near and dear to us, and we'll certainly be doing at least one when we play this show. And we're also going to have, which we don't often have, or always have, I should say, some guest musicians joining us on stage, which will, I think, make the show pretty special.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. And I imagine you guys must be hitting the road for the rest of the year then, too?
We are. We've got a lot of dates between now and the end of winter 2020. So, yeah, we're going to be playing here, playing Phoenix and Philadelphia and Norfolk. We're going to go down to South America for some dates there. Chicago in the fall. We've got a lot more dates coming up.
Well, David, I know you are involved in a few other projects as well. I know 5 Billion in Diamonds, a couple other things. Is there something else as far as that goes besides the Ocean Blue we should be looking out for?
5 Billion in Diamonds is definitely probably the thing that I spend most time on musically besides the band, the Ocean Blue, and that's a great project, kind of headed up by producer Butch Vig, who's from Wisconsin, and of course produced a lot of amazing records and part of a great band called Garbage as well, and just a ton of great musicians from around the world in that kind of supergroup project. And we're working on and hopefully finishing up a second record now that will be released probably in 2020. And but that's the main thing. I help friends out from time to time in the recording studio, but those are the two big projects that I'm involved in creatively as a singer or a guitar player.
Excellent. Again, David, looking forward to seeing you at the Fine Line here coming up. And, of course, the new album, Kings and Queens, Knaves and Thieves. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure. We'll see you.